798 episodes, Doctor Who is the longest-running science fiction series in the world. Born on the planet Gallifrey.
How old are you then? 45?
Well, I'm 903 years old.
The Doctor travels in time and space in his TARDIS.
What a landing.
The man with the sonic screwdriver and 2 hearts has been assisted by over 40 companions. And in his fight for good over evil, he saved the universe from deadly enemies. None more so than the Dark.
You will be punished. Exterminate. Destroy them. Exterminate. You will be deleted.
Regeneration is the secret of his eternal youth. Since 1963, there have been 11 Doctors.
They call me the Doctor. Doctor.
And tonight, we reveal the identity of Doctor number 12.
They didn't say the final Doctor, but I think that if it was the final Doctor,
They would say the
the
final
final deal of the final Doctor.
Mike's recording it too.
Yeah, but you know, every time I hear the big thing that they're making a big deal out of is that it's Doctor number 12.
Right.
So it's the final Doctor.
I really hope I got this. Yeah, I know. Well, I know, but I'm gonna have it quarterly. It's live right now, 7 o'clock. Right now? I have no idea.
Is that a big deal in England?
Yeah.
Good evening and welcome to a very, very special show. Tonight, live, the BBC around the world, we are going to exclusively reveal the identity of the brand new Doctor. To share the excitement, I'll be joined by a host of celebrity fans, plus some familiar faces from the TV series. Now, Doctor Who has the best fans in the galaxy, I think you'll agree. In the audience, there you go, feast your eyes. The Whovians, ladies and gentlemen. Come to town tonight, and they'll feel right at home here, surrounded by the space-time vortex and our very special guest, the TARDIS.
That's awesome. Just hanging there.
Their special guest.
Since we're live, you can send us your thoughts throughout the show on Facebook, Twitter, and join the conversation on the BBC Doctor Who website. So, it was Saturday, the 1st of June, that the dramatic news first broke.
Thank you. It's time to talk.
Now, the actor Matt Smith is to leave Doctor Who after 4 years in the role. The 11th Doctor will bow out at this year's Christmas special.
The story made all the news headlines, and ever since, speculation has been rife about the identity of his successor. We'll have an exclusive interview with Matt a little bit later on. So, who is the next Doctor?
Newsflash.
Well, not long until we find out who has bagged the little blue box. The tension is unbelievable. Right now, we have 3 people, though, who are well acquainted with the series. Please welcome actors Lisa Tarbuck, Daniel Roche, and the 5th Doctor himself, Peter Davison.
That's David Tennant's father-in-law! How'd you say it? Yeah. David Tennant's father.
This is all very, very exciting, isn't it? It is so extraordinary. Can I just ask you, the first question to you is, at this moment in time, none of you know who the next Doctor is, do you?
Absolutely not.
Honestly, Davison?
Honestly.
So good. I mean, Peter, it's so exciting to have you here. You played the 5th incarnation of the Doctor in a programme that has just become a worldwide phenomenon. And people say it's the best job in television. Is that true?
In a way, it's the longest job in television, because you could say, by that I mean it's wonderful, because it's been a whirlwind time while you're doing it, but then it continues after you've left, and I'm still here today, the 5th Doctor, so it's fantastic.
It is. And have you noticed in the audience there's quite a few people dressed up like you?
I've noticed there are a lot of people dressed as all sorts of people.
I know.
Very worried.
It's a Dalek. She may need help later on. And there's also another lovely connection with you and Doctor Who, isn't there? Family one.
Yes, I suppose now I'm sort of patriarch of a kind of dynasty. I've started a dynasty as my daughter is married to David Tennant, the 10th Doctor. So
I love it. It's so complicated. She played his daughter, then she married him.
I know,
I'm confused.
it's very bizarre. When I was giving the father of the bride speech, it became very confusing.
That's brilliant. Lisa, I know you're a huge fan of the show. Why do you think it's so successful, Doctor Who?
I think it's a sort of marker for television generally. I think it allowed us to sit and watch telly with our family, or in fact sneak a look at it when you weren't meant to, and consequently scare the living bejesus out of yourself. I say that as a
Yes.
Yeti. I'm still scared of the Yetis. And I think there was something for everyone. Everyone's got a window to a particular doctor that does a particular thing for you. It was great telly, wasn't it?
Yeah. Great telly. And I think it's good to be scared as well. Great to be scared. Daniel, very excited about you being on the show tonight. Hello, sir. Now, when did you first start watching Doctor Who? What's your first memory of Doctor Who?
Well, the classics were recommended to me by my mum because she watched them with her brother when she was younger. And I ended up tuning on to the first episode on a Saturday night, not really knowing what it was, and I loved it. I loved it so much. It was with the Nestine Consciousness and the Autons, and it was just so different to everything else. And I just started watching it from then on, and I've watched every episode since.
Who was that Doctor? I mean, was that
Christopher Eccleston.
Christopher Eccleston.
Yeah.
Do you ever fancy yourself as a companion, Daniel?
Well, if they decide to bring a child in,
Here we go. Come on, quick, quick. Call Stephen Moffat immediately. Well, I must ask you, who your favourite? Who is your Doctor, and who is your favourite, if it's possible to choose a favourite? Lisa, your favourite Doctor, and why?
I have to say John Pertwee, with deference to the fifth
No,
Doc.
that's absolutely...
But I'd have to have a very hefty side order of Chris Eck. Because I don't think without somebody that good to reproduce Russell's work then, we can't have what we've got now.
Yeah, Russell T Davies.
Yeah, absolutely.
Genius. Your favourite Doctor and why?
David Tennant, mainly because he was the one lasting, because I've been around not that long since it started, so he's been around during the majority of the time that I've been watching it, so he's the one I have the most memories of. Plus, he just had this unique thing to him, because some of them are dark and some of them are sort of kooky, and he had this fantastic mix of the two, which I just loved, yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And Peter, your favourite?
I suppose that would have to be Patrick Troughton, because I think he had, in a way, the most difficult job. He was the first regeneration, and no one had any idea about another actor playing the Doctor at that time. And I just remember sitting down with apprehension and watching his first episode, and just being won over, just in that very first episode. So in a way, he was my Doctor.
Okay, I say you're my favourite, but I say that to all the Time Lords. Thank you. We caught up with the current Doctor, Matt Smith, as he talked about his time in the TARDIS, and by the look of it, his time in the Barbers.
I've loved it, I really have, and I'll miss it, but when you gotta go, you gotta go.
No! He grew up, I don't like that. He was so much better when he was younger.
There was a backlash when I was cast. I was 26 and I was unknown. And people went, that is not Doctor Who. I always knew I wanted it to be quite physical. And I wanted the comedy to be quite physical. And I knew I wanted him to feel very clever, but at the same time, to not quite understand the human race.
Has anyone ever told you that you're a bit weird?
They never really stop. In my first audition, I wore a tweed blazer. Just because I had one. Yeah. And then I put a bow tie on, and Stephen and Piers and Bethel went, oh, no. And then they were like, oh, maybe.
Nice bow tie. Bow ties are cool. Yours is very well. Thank you.
And then it slowly dawns on you that you're actually going to have to do it. I loved the fez. I literally, as soon as I had it, I was like, can I have the fez back? Can we get the fez in again?
I wear a fez now. Fezzes are cool.
I miss playing a character that can bounce from A to Z, like that, and that is the cleverest in the room, but also the silliest in the room.
I wear a Stetson now. Stetsons are cool.
Just being the Doctor, he's the Doctor, What a character. Of course, there's always a part of you that goes, I never want to go. There are no parts like this. I think it's a good time for me to move on, and we've got the 50th anniversary, and it's the biggest year in the show's history. And I'm playing the part, and I pass it on with a smile to the next guy, and I say, good luck, buddy. You're going to have to work hard. I know who they are. If I had to pick someone, I'd pick him. Because I think he's great. And weirdly enough, after the 11th hour, he came up to me in the street and said, oh, mate, well done. I watched your episode last night. It was brilliant. I think you're really good. And I really needed that. I needed a sort of boost, and I never forgot it. Who am I? I'm excited because I know what's coming, and that he's going to have a blast. Coming out of the regeneration, you know, it wasn't massively painful. It was just very exciting. And like whammo, I think going into it probably is a bit more painful. Yeah. It's time. Goodbye, Doctor. Legs, yes. No time. Cool. I got my affairs.
Go, Matt. Don't go. You should.
Look how cool this stuff is.
I don't know if I'll be doing the Doctor's Dance or the rap, but I'd quite like to get it in the Christmas special. One last hurrah of the drunk giraffe. It's been great, man. It's been, you know, it's a really cool job. Be hard to top.
Yes, he has a haircut now. I got a clean. Matt Smith there, revealing a real mixture of sadness and pride. It's an emotional business, isn't it? He's in LA at the moment, but I'm sure we all agree he is a brilliant doctor and he'll be very much missed. I think Matt... Now, did my massive ears deceive me, or did I just hear Matt using the word he and him? Could be a bit awkward if the next doctor turns out to be a woman. It could happen. It might happen one day. You know, it could be. Well, all will be revealed very, very soon as the next doctor has entered the building, ladies and gentlemen. The next doctor. I'm so scared I'm going to say the wrong thing. We are live, and it seems the whole world is watching. Thank you so much for your messages. I think the internet is melting at the moment. It's fair to say that Doctor Who has come up with some pretty ingenious ideas over the years, but nothing beats the fact that the leading man can change his appearance. It's a process, if you didn't know, called regeneration, which means when the Doctor dies, his body rejuvenates and he comes back to life with a new look and a different personality. Brilliant. From William Hartnell to Matt Smith, the Doctor has been played by 11 actors, and the 12th has some pretty big shoes to fill.
The Doctor is an eccentric hero. He's a time-travelling meddler who says he never meddles.
He's kind of everything and everything at once. He's old, he's young, he could be your grandfather, he could be your brother.
I would describe as the Lone Ranger.
Somebody who is a force for good, a force for fairness, and generally has a sidekick.
Susan and I are cut off from our own planet, without friends or protection.
Bill Hartnell was the wise old gent.
He was older, and that gave him an air of authority younger doctors lacked.
There you are, my son. Nice to see you through well again.
Told everybody what was what and how to do it. Regeneration is such a clever idea.
It's a part that 12 different actors will and have played.
This had never been done before, and we had no idea if it was going to be accepted.
Patrick Troughton did the hard job. He turned it into something different but the same, and we all loved him.
He was like the teenager, really, but in this older body.
Who was also a bit eccentric and playing his little flute. My doctor, Peter Davison, was more man of action than had previously been the case.
Bit glam, actually. Bit handsome. Big scarf. Crazy.
I'm going to whisper this, but I think Tom Baker will always be the Doctor, like the Doctor.
You may be a doctor, but I'm the Doctor. The definite article, you might say.
If you say Doctor Who, like one of those free association games like Tom Baker, because everybody has their first Doctor.
There was a quirkiness about him which I find sort of unsettling.
Something wrong?
John's Doctor was flamboyant. He was a dandy.
He was quite a maverick as well. He was quite stern.
The weapons that you have on Earth are quite nasty enough as it is.
Give the cloak a flourish, darling.
Colin had his big frock coat with his kind of clown-like colours.
You're not serious?
I'm always serious. When I was asked what kind of costume I would like, I described pretty much what Christopher Eccleston eventually got.
When Christopher Eccleston walked out of that TARDIS, I went, yes, he was so good, and he was so dark, and he was so modern.
Why don't you just die? You would make a good Dalek.
I've always had a soft spot for Sylvester McCoy.
I always thought of him actually a little bit like Peter Falk in Columbo.
I think he was the cutest Doctor.
Scatterbrained, but actually working it all out underneath.
He's the most beautiful of all the Doctors. Drop dead gorgeous. He was a kind of philosopher Doctor in a way. I'm going to betray Patrick Troughton because I have to say David Tennant was my favourite Doctor after Patrick Troughton. He's very on top of things, is David.
It is very good at opening doors.
He's very in command.
There's something about Matt Smith that it has the charm of an hyperactive puppy.
His physicality was so extraordinary. He's so elastic, you know, amazing.
I've got to be in the show when we're celebrating its 50th year, and it's wonderful to kind of be part of something that so many people are talking about and so many people love and so many people are just really excited about.
What does the future hold? We're soon to find out. But here to share their love of the show, I'm delighted to welcome two fantastic guests. Please welcome Bernard Cribbins and Rufus Hound. Nice t-shirt, Ruth. It does seem fitting, Bernard, that you're here because it was your character, Wilf, Donna's granddad, who caused the regeneration of the last regeneration of the
If you're
Doctors.
going to be rude, I'm going to leave.
Do you still feel a little bit guilty about that?
No, I don't, you see, because my character, Wilf, was being kind to someone else who was trapped in there, so he went in and therefore he was trapped, and then David made the supreme sacrifice and released me, and he then, you know, got clobbered.
I know.
Terrifyingly earlier, though, Bernard came to my dressing room to say hello, knocked 3 times on the door. I thought I was going to die.
Isn't it 4?
It is 4.
It's 4.
Oh, who can fail?
I mean, Bernard, were you ever up for the, did you ever fancy playing the Doctor?
I had an interview when John Pertwee was leaving, and I went and saw the producer, Barry Letts, and I sat down, he said hello, I said hello. He said, now then, what can you do? I said, well, I'm a very good swimmer.
Yeah.
That's fine, yes. I said, I was a paratrooper, so I can fight. He said, no, Doctor never fights. No. Anyway, I didn't get the job, and the first thing I saw Tom Baker do was clobber somebody.
Absolutely, typical.
Yeah.
Rufus, you're a hardcore fan, although perhaps I'm down.
Yeah, no, I mean, after saying no 3 times, I want to shoot myself in the head.
When did you first start watching the show? Because it wasn't when you were a little boy, was it?
No, well, I'm of that generation that was sort of old enough to watch it after it had been cancelled. So I only clocked on with Russell T Davies and Peter Eccleston because it seemed like, you know...
Christopher Eccleston!
Pete Eccleston.
He's like
He's just excited as we
honestly,
all are.
I promise you, I've been sitting in the car on the way here going, whatever you do in that room, don't get the facts wrong.
Oh, bless you.
I am absolutely dying inside.
It didn't work.
No, it worked.
Why do you think it's so... What makes Doctor Who so special, though, Rufus? Redeem yourself.
Right, what I think makes Doctor Who so special is that sci-fi allows you to look at really human problems, but with a degree of distance from it. So the Doctor's able to talk to us about life and death and meaning, what it is to be a child, what it is to grow old, what it is to be different. We're able to understand all of those stories in a way that seems fantastic, but is actually able to define those things that are true of the human experience.
That was beautiful.
And I think that that's the power of this show. And what's more powerful about Doctor Who than any of the other sci-fi shows is that it's British.
Yes.
And so we have this...
The voice of the Wombles, the Tufty Club advert, and the Railway Children. This year, Bernard Cribbin celebrates 70 years in show business. Okay, now we are getting closer to the moment of truth. Here's one man who knows who's who, not least because he made the decision. It's the show's executive producer, head writer, and guardian angel, Stephen Moffat.
I hate you!
Every day in the rushes when Matt's working, he will do something absolutely barking mad. He will do something so bold and so clever that I won't see it coming. And I will miss that brilliance and that invention.
I am definitely a madman with a box.
The Doctor is an icon. People are hugely invested in who the new Doctor is.
Everybody is wildly speculative. It's fun, isn't it? It's like electing the next Prime Minister. It could be a disaster.
I'm really terrified that it's Harry Styles.
The commissioning process is that you see lots and lots of people. And that's what we did last time. Though oddly enough, most occasions in Doctor Who, it hasn't happened that way. It didn't happen that way this time. We all had an idea. We all had the same idea. And it was sort of a quite different idea. So we got our notional number 12 round to my house, and we made a home video of that person being the Doctor and showed it around, showed the people who need to be in on that decision, because it's like appointing the president or something. And everyone just said, well, yes, that's the Doctor.
But it would be interesting to see somebody who's a really established actor.
Maybe someone who's a little bit older, but also someone with gravitas.
The Doctor has to be British!
With all heart like a Doctor, or James Bond or Sherlock Holmes, there comes a right time for the right person to play it. I mean, oddly enough, this person briefly flicked through my mind the last time, and I didn't think they were right. And but this time, just wow, it's that moment has arrived.
I'd love some sort of twist that we're not expecting.
It would make a change if the next Doctor was a woman with a male assistant.
We've established that Time Lords can change gender, so it's completely not against the rules. As to whether or not that's what we're doing, well, that's what you're watching the show for.
No.
I like that Helen Mirren has been saying that we should have a female Doctor. I'd like to go on record. I think it's time that the Queen was played by a man.
I suspected it would be a young male. Could go older again.
Someone who's a little bit dark and a little bit frightening.
I would like it if the new Doctor was funny.
I would like the next Doctor to be best friends with Clara.
3 words to describe the new Doctor: different from Matt.
So if Stephen won't spill the beans, I guess it's down to me. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the end, but the moment has been prepared for. I know you're beside yourself with excitement, the tension is unbearable, and the wait has been excruciating. Some of the audience here are biting into their sonic screwdrivers. It is finally time to put a new face to the old name. He may be 1,000 years old, but he's about to get a whole new lease of life. Here we go, the big reveal, the crunch moment we've all been waiting for. Joining us now, live in the studio, exclusively on the BBC. Please welcome the 12th Doctor, a hero for a whole new generation. It's Peter Capaldi!
No idea who that is. I don't know, but whatever. That's what we think about myself. Oh. He's gonna be fun. Yes. Yes. Look at his face. He's gonna be a great Doctor. He's gonna be funny. I can tell he's gonna be. He's gonna be dark and funny. That's gonna be cool. Yeah. I think that. I don't think so.
Wonderful. Join us. it's safe to say they like you. Peter, congratulations. Your first official appearance as the 12th Doctor. How relieved are you?
It's so wonderful not to keep this secret any longer. But it has been absolutely fantastic in its own way. So many wonderful things have happened. That, for instance, for a while I couldn't tell my daughter, who would be looking on the internet and discovering that people were saying so-and-so should be Doctor Who and so-and-so should be Doctor Who, and she was getting rather upset that they never mentioned me. And I said, just rise above it, darling, rise above it.
It's absolutely perfect. How did you prepare for the audition as the Doctor?
Well, it was quite hard because even though I'm a lifelong Doctor Who fan, I haven't really played Doctor Who since I was 9 in the playground. So as an adult actor, I've never worked on it. So what I did was I downloaded some old scripts from the internet and practiced those in front of the mirror.
Fantastic.
But Stephen had already written some scenes that referred to a doctor of my ilk.
Of your ilk. Oh, it's so exciting. I've got really clammy palms. Over the last couple of days, fans in their droves have been sending in questions for you. Kelly from Dundee, even Kelly, says, what were you doing the moment you found out you were going to be the next Doctor?
Well, I was actually filming in Prague. I'm doing the BBC's adaptation of The Three Musketeers over there, playing Cardinal Richelieu. And I had my phone on silent. So I missed the call. And I looked at it and saw a missed call. It was 10 minutes ago, and it was my dear agent. And I rang her up and said, it's me. And she said, hello, Doctor. And I just started to laugh. I haven't stopped laughing since.
He's a nervous laugher. And Nicola from Stevenage wants to know, have you been practicing in front of a mirror saying, hello, I'm the Doctor? Because, of course, you played a spin Doctor. The iconic Malcolm Tucker, a slightly different Doctor to this Doctor you're going to be playing.
Yes, well, I think Malcolm's been banished from the mirror by this new Doctor, who certainly would not put up with any of Malcolm's language or attitudes to the world. I didn't really I don't say I'm the Doctor. I'm surprised now to see Doctor Who looking back. That's what's really strange. You look in the mirror and suddenly, strangely, he's looking back, and he's not me yet. But he's reaching out, and hopefully we'll get it together.
It's so exciting. I know, because it's still such early days. I mean, you've been in Doctor Who already. You're in the Fires of Pompeii. And you said yourself that you've been a fan for a long, long time. So much so that you actually wrote to the Radio Times years ago. Have a look at this letter. This is the letter that Peter wrote, a young Peter wrote to the Radio Times in 1988. What was it? Oh, no, you're right. I hope that in 15 years' time, in 1988, you will publish another special to celebrate 25 years of wandering in time with the Doctor. Peter Capaldi, 15, Glasgow. How cute is that?
Yes, I know. I mean, I've had that from my wife for about 25 years. It's the full geek, it's the full anorak. You're never going to get a girlfriend with a letter like that.
Well, it just sort of seems now here then, in the 50th year of the show, here you are, sitting on the hot seat. I mean, do you have a message for all the Doctor Who fans who are watching?
Well, I think Doctor Who is an extraordinary show, and the thing that strikes me about it, that it's still here after all this time, and the reason that I think that it's still here is because of the work of all the writers and the directors and the producers who've worked on the show, the work of all the actors, and I don't just mean the fabulous actors who play the Doctor, but also those actors who've sweated inside rubber monster costumes and those who had to wear futuristic Lurex catsuits. But the real reason, the big reason that Doctor Who is still with us is because of every single viewer who ever turned on to watch this show at any age, at any time in its history and in their history, and who took it into their heart, because Doctor Who belongs to all of us. Everyone made Doctor Who.
Thank you. Thank you.
And we do have, Matt Smith has a very special message for you now. Have a look at this.
I just want to wish my successor all the best and just say good luck and good on you for getting it, and because I know he is both a huge fan of the show and a really nice guy, and I think the casting of it made me really excited, genuinely, and as a fan I think it's a really canny choice. I think it'll be a hit. So, good luck, man. It's going to be a thrill.
And to Matt Smith, you can catch him on the Doctor Who prom on the 26th of August. That's Bank Holiday Monday. So let's hear it for the newest incarnation of the galaxy's #1 hero. He's the 12th Doctor, and the whole of time and space awaits. Huge applause, please, for Peter Capaldi.
The body of all of you.